Hello, I'm Mike. I'm an ex Hells Angel member. I was a member and started the Fresno charter, and I transferred to Santa Barbara to start them up. And then I transferred back to Fresno, and that's where I left in 2011. I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Mike Lynch. Were you in the club when Sonny passed?
No.
What do you think about him not being buried as a Hells Angel?
I mean, I don't know that to be true or not true. All I know is I had somebody go there and videotape that, and I heard people speaking, and so I mean, in my opinion, he was buried a Hell's Angel. You know, some people said that Chuck was kicked out. Some people wanted this done. I mean, I hear so much, and I look and I go, well, number one is we shouldn't be listening to none of that crap anyway, because in your business, you got the shady side of your guys, and some of them I talk to, and the ones that did call me, and I just said, hey, look, I don't care what you do as long as you tell the truth. Okay? If you tell the truth and you want both sides of the stories, then get both sides before you get on there and start chirping. Because, like I said, we don't all love each other. And if there's some guys that could throw a stick in your spokes, they would.
Yeah, of course.
To be nice about it, yeah, they would.
Yeah.
If given the opportunity, yeah, you motherfucker. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I'm sure because, I'm pretty outspoken. When I was into it, I wanted to have my say. I saw things that were wrong. Hey, we can make it better doing this. When I revamped the financial system of the club, what I did, the two very prominent members, they said, we want you to do this. And I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, if we ask you to do something that's for the club, would you do it? And I just looked at him. I said, well, look, if it's for the benefit of this club and it's not ignorant, you're not going to just send me out with a rag over my eyes. He goes, and I said, well, sure, I'm game. And I've got maybe a year in, right? Yeah. So I said, well, what is it you want? None of your fucking business. Get the fuck out of here. Right? I'm a member.
Yeah.
Right? So we go to the meeting, and we had a guy in another city that vacated the treasury, so whatever transpired, we needed a treasury, we needed this, we needed that. So I'm just sitting there, and I don't got to worry about nothing. You usually got to be in the club 5 years, before you assume that kind of responsibility. Next thing I know, these two guys stand up and they said, we want him to do this and we want him to do it right now. And they said, well, we got to vote. So they did a vote. So I left there as a new member year in the club as the CFO of the West Coast.
So you're the president and you're the CFO.
Yeah.
A year into it.
And I'm going like, oh, I'm just getting my feet wet, right? So then I went to the powers that be that, I trusted. I said, well, how do you, he goes, I'm going to tell you something right now. It's your job. You do it as you see fit, but always keep us in mind. We got to be informed. We got to have, everything's got to be transparent. Everything's got to be in writing. Everything that you do, make sure you make everybody happy. I said, okay. So what I did was I didn't like the idea of the cash because it kept getting confiscated. So then I went to a former IRS agent. I went to the president of a bank. I went to 4 entities that had to do with finances. So I told them, here's my job. And I just said CFO, HAMC, and whatever. It went over their head for a minute, and then it became. So I said, look, I don't want them in these. I don't want them to be able to get in here. I don't want anything. I want it just us. So after I talked to each one of these investigators and these agents, they said, look, I want you to open up accounts that are non-interest bearing. In other words, you're storing money, and that's it. Okay, well, in our club, we have our dues, which helps with the West Coast shit. We have attorney fees that get shared amongst the membership. We have a world run and a USA run that funds are separate than anything. So what I did was I set up 4 non-interest accounts, and I incorporated in Nevada with the help of an Oakland member who transferred to Nevada, made us the corporation, made me a corporate officer in the state of Nevada. And in the state of Nevada, there is no corporation lose. Why? Prostitution, houses, okay? All that came into play. They asked me, I said, I just want to store some money so when somebody's got to go somewhere, I take the money from here and not rob Peter.
Yeah, but they need you to get the money, right?
Yes.
So what about what if they?
I need to go on a flight. You need to get somewhere. Give me all your information. I got all the dates. Go to the airport, pick up your ticket. Done deal. Oh, by the way, in the mail, there's going to be your expenses. You got a per diem. If you're there 5 days, $100 a day. Okay, so I make sure they had their money. And if guys could afford it, then they would just bring me back and I just reimburse them in cash. But if we needed to get things done, I did everything by that credit card or debit card. Each account was for each occasion. I don't take out of a USA run to send a guy to a funeral, right?
Yeah.
It's not proper and it's not understandable by most. When I came back to the club and told them I'd put everything in banks and I did that, I didn't think I was going to make it out of the building. I'm telling you, I sat there and they go, you did what, mother? I said, well, you coffee can motherfucker. You guys are so used to being coffee cans in the backyard. This is the new way. And I went to these individuals who were the best at what they did. And I got it from the horse's mouth. As long as you don't collect interest, as long as that. And what you're doing is, and I'd explained to them, I said, if somebody dies in Europe, I got to get them a plane ticket. We got to get a wreath. And these are the things that are part of the job. So when we go over there, from the West Coast, United States, here's a wreath, here's our representative, and everything's good, right? We go to USA, the money's there. I call up, I do everything by credit card. We own Walmart, we own liquor stores, we own everything. And then I did a deal with the liquor store. I tell him, I said, he goes, well, how much you think you're going to spend? I said, right off the get-go, 15 grand to get to you to fill my list. I said, now, if we don't open any of that liquor, you're going to buy it back from me. And they did. We get done, they come to the run site. As long as everything was not open, cases, the cases could be wet.
Yeah.
The boxes from being in ice, whatever the fuck, didn't care. As long as the cans or the bottles or whatever were in there, as long as the liquor bottles were all intact with their thing on it, they took everything back, paid me back in cash.
That's smart because some people want to think of little things like that.
But that's what I'm saying. This is my opinion. If you're asking me who I'm going to grab into my charter right now, they're going to be one at least computer savvy, super bad motherfucker. So that's what this world is turning into. So we got to be in with the people that we compete with. Second, of course, you're going to have guys that are their specialty is physicality. Okay, we'll put it that way. And then, but you want everybody to be thinking on their feet, because when Joe Fed comes blasting and runs you off the road, and they all got you surrounded and you're hammed up, 1, 2, 3, go. You better know what you're going to say or not say, blah, blah, blah. You're going to know everything right then and there because you've already thought this out. If I ever get jammed by these motherfuckers, fuck them. Do we have permission to do this? No, you don't. Lay down on the cement. Fuck you. You lay down on the cement. 130 degrees down there. Fuck you. You lay on it. And that's why, I wasn't all the favorite of law enforcement because I didn't like you. You've done things to me and my brothers and other friends that I don't consider to be necessary, But anyway.
We could go on we could keep going and
going. Take a break. We can do this anytime. I'm not going anywhere.
We'll do this more. I got a lot of questions for you. So we'll do another one.
And like I said,
we'll make this a whole series.
I'm just a guy. Okay, look, there are some people on here that have not here, but on other sites where maybe they don't have a problem with naming individuals and things that may or may not have occurred. And in my thinking, this is my opinion, I don't give a f if he is dead. I don't care if he's long gone. He got mamas, grandmas, grandkids, uncles, aunts. You don't want to have them looking, oh, my uncle's one, and then all of a sudden you hear that he was involved in something that might or might not have been questionable. Okay, yeah. I don't agree with that. I believe that, hey, whatever the fun we had or whatever the incident, you can skim around the incident, and I'm sure you, being a smart guy, can figure out and read between the lines. You don't need me to say, hey, on June 19th, me and Joe Blow got in the car and da-da-da.
No, okay.
He's dead.
On this sunny afternoon, right? Me and this guy.
Well, it does matter to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you want to talk about me having fun with Pee Wee and this and that, I probably have 100 instances with Pee Wee that just have you rolling. I don't think they'd be appropriate sometimes for this because nobody wants to hear this. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I say as long as we keep it like that,
yeah.
And I don't care what club you're in. When we meet face to face, you like me, okay. If you don't, you don't. And I'm doing what I do because I'm looking forward to meeting people that I once disliked at a great deal. I mean, now I can sit there and shake your hand and give you a hug, have a beer, and wasn't that a crazy ride? You know what I mean? And then like 99% of the people, when I tell them when the prospects in California start bitching and moaning, I should be remembered by now. They said, go talk to Mike from Fresno, would you? You want to talk about a long time? Go talk to him. He'll tell you. So they come up to me and I go, 5 years, 11 months, 11 days. And they look at me and goes, you got to be kidding. What'd you do wrong? Nothing. That's how long it takes you to know how to run things as a member. That's not, you're not going to pick up this handbook and go, oh, okay. That's not the way it works. And a lot of the older members, because of informants and this and that, they're not all that suave to start talking to strangers, after they see you for 5 or 6 years, then everything changes. Once they know you're solid and your feet are planted, then, hey, then we're good. But as coming up, you're on your own. You do things as you see fit. You do it right. If you don't know, then you ask somebody that does know. Don't let it just get swept under the rug. Don't do it because it'll come back to haunt you sooner or later.
Yeah.
But anyway,
let's set this up again.
I hope I get along with just about everybody. The East Coast guys, I had some to do with, but the West Coast guys, there ain't nobody that doesn't know me, or we haven't been together doing whatever. Traveling the world. We've been all over the world doing shit, and I loved it. And I trusted them guys for the most part. But as you get going in this club, you find out there's some shitheads, and it wasn't all that obvious. You know what I mean?
Things are changing, man. Things are changing now.
But if I think, like I said, if I was to do it again and I had a charter, that knowing what I know, this is how we're going to set up, and it's not going to be we got to be the baddest. No, we're going to be the quietest, doing what we do, and we're still going to be doing it. It's just it ain't going to be on Channel 30 News and fucking everybody's podcast and all that shit. Well, them guys just went and all 10 of them got arrested because they pulled into a gas station. Oh, fuck me. If you guys can't think a little bit more, take 5 minutes, go down the street, think about it for a minute. Think about it just for a minute. One or two guys, not 10. Anyway, to each his own.
If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too bad. Start your own podcast. Peace.